ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
1 day away from kickoff, East Carolina football will soon officially be back. They will make their way up to Raleigh today, sleep there, get ready for the game all day tomorrow, and then play 7 p.m. kickoff. Almost a tip-off. We're not quite a basketball season yet, but we're almost to kickoff season. College football on the way with week 0 last week. Week 1 officially begins Thursday night, and the Pirates will be in action. Man, it just feels different outside, and I don't know if it's because the weather is changing, but the air felt a little more crisp this morning. It almost felt like football weather. I know it's still pretty hot, but, man, it just feels like football season is here, and maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me with the weather. But I don't know. Something about it. Philip Pilkington, he's producing today's program. We'll get his take over the course of the next hour on several items. We are live, as always, on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you got a question, a comment, or concern, you want to talk about the game, the matchups, any of that, drop it in the chat. We'll get to it over the course of the next hour. We will have the season debut of Maceo Donald, former ECU football player, sideline reporter on the ECU Sports Network. He will join us. And full disclosure, we got his live reaction to the big news yesterday. We recorded the interview yesterday after the show to the Alabama game, which we'll talk about here shortly as well, for next year's opener. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to get the replay. Also download the IBX Media app, which, by the way, the Logan Zone, Steve Logan, former ECU coach, everybody knows him. The Logan Zone returns tonight. Now, usually this is a Thursday evening broadcast, 5 to 7. It'll be tonight, the season debut of the Logan Zone, which you can hear. If you can't catch it live, download the IBX Media app to get the replay. If you can catch it live, obviously it'll be on 94.3 The Game, as well as other of our stations under the IBX Media platforms as well. But looking forward to the Logan Zone, which Philip will be a part of. Now, I co-hosted some of these last year, just have a little too much going on to return in that role this year. But excited about listening in. And, Philip, it sounds like there's going to be some new wrinkles to the show this year. So first off, are you excited about that and having maybe a little bit of insider reports on the teams that fans really care about?
Yeah, I am looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Yeah, Coach Logan's going to adopt more of the philosophy that he had when he had a show in Raleigh, where we do specific segments to local teams, and we have an insider from those teams come on the show. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll still have time to take your calls. That time will be, a little slower or a little less, just solely because of the fact that we do have those insiders coming on, but we'll do a little segment with each team from around the Carolinas, all the big teams at least. I'll handle the East Carolina stuff unless, Igo wants to start being a regular guest. But right now I think I've got it pretty good. I may still Igo's cheat sheet in order to do it, but we're looking forward to that. And, it'll be a fun 2 hours, and we'll listen to some blues music, talk about wine, talk about football.
So the Logan Zone returns again tonight, Wednesday night this week. Every week ECU's got a Thursday game. It'll be on Wednesday, and then it'll be Thursday normal time slot, 5 to 7 for those other weeks throughout the college football season. Did want to also promote, we have the pregame show. That'll be tomorrow. It'll be me and Philip co-hosting it for the first time. Again, no video stream for the pregame, but we will stream it on 943thegame.com, and you can stream it through the IBX Media app. This will be from 4 to 6 p.m. So we'll have the show tomorrow streamed as normal. As soon as it ends, Philip and I are going to hit the road, make our way to Carter Finley, get in the press box there, get settled. Then we'll do the pregame show 4 to 6. We've got some fun things planned for the pregame show, including a discussion that I want to give a shout-out to Scott Lorbatcher, one of our Bucks on the Pond members. He kind of brought up the point of, is ECU NC State the best G5 versus Power 4 rivalry in college football? So we'll have a segment on that and a whole lot more. So looking forward to that, Philip. I know you've been hard at work on putting together the pregame show outline and all that good stuff.
I'm only going to take 50% of the credit of that. I feel like we have been hard at work doing it.
You're in charge of it, though, so if something goes wrong, I'm blaming you.
Okay, that's fair enough. I will take all blame, but if it goes correctly, I will give 50% of the credit to Steve and Igo because we actually met yesterday and went over all of our segments, and we think we got a pretty good one lined up for you. And let's be honest, something is probably going to go off the rails in a good way. I think we'll probably go down some rabbit hole, and then it'll probably totally rearrange all the plans we had, and Dom will be texting us going, why'd you guys rearrange the schedule you sent me? But hey, that's why we have Dom back in the studio, because he's adaptive.
And it's live radio. Anything can happen. You never know when Philip's going to say something controversial that could get us fined. As we found out, I guess that was last week.
I guess so. I don't remember what you're talking about. I have amnesia.
We have a comment from Rafe Daddy in the chat. It says, I know it's prearranged, but it seems like East Carolina should be making more than $300,000 for the state game. Are you talking about that is the contract return, Rafe? Let us know what exactly you mean there. I would assume ECU also gives them money since it's a home-and-home situation, so it's not like they're going to be a big payout. But let us know exactly what you mean there. I don't have the contract in front of me, but typically you do have maybe some sort of payment exchange, small payment for the home-and-home in that situation. So let me know what you mean. Speaking of big payouts and openers, ECU will be $1.5 million richer after next season's season opener. The Alabama Crimson Tide. ECU will play at Alabama on September 5th, 2026. Now, this is not the first time ECU has played Alabama. That actually took place in the late 90s, and I don't remember that game, but I've heard a lot about it, that ECU should have won that football game. That was in Birmingham. This will be the first time in Bryant-Denny Stadium. I was talking with John Gilbert a little bit yesterday. He said he was on the sideline as an Alabama administrator for that game. So things kind of come full circle for John Gilbert. He uses his connections, obviously, to reconnect and get this game on the schedule. Another thing that came full circle, West Virginia canceled its game at East Carolina, and Alabama and West Virginia canceled their series to make room for East Carolina, Alabama. So, man, what a day that's going to be for ECU football. Obviously, it's going to be a tough challenge. We all know that, but I think pretty awesome announcement.
Yeah, it's great. Anytime you can get one of these bye games, this is big. And look, at the end of the day, you lose that West Virginia game, which was going to be, $300,000, and now you're turning a $1.2 million gain out of that. So that's huge. And then just anytime you can go play at an SEC school, it gets more of those eyes on your product. And also it's fun for the fans, I think, to go to these environments. I mean, look, is Dowdy Ficklen a great environment? Yes, but to say it's the best in the country, you'd be crazy, right? I mean, the SEC environment, the SEC tailgates are second to none. So it's going to be really cool to go down there and just kind of experience the whole weekend. I hope a lot of the Pirate fans can make the trip, and I hope they can make the trip where it's not just, you fly in the day of and out the next morning, but actually go turn a weekend out of it and go down there and see. I've never been, and I'm really hoping I get to go because that will be a special opportunity to be. And, yeah, I really like it if I was about 5 or 6 years younger than I am right now. I would like it probably even a little more.
I mean, why not a live pregame show from Bryant-Denny Stadium?
I think so.
We have to make this work. I mean, this is a bucket list item. I mean, it's going to be years until ECU plays Alabama again in football, I'm going to guess. So what other reason do we have to go to Tuscaloosa, Alabama?
Yeah. Hank,
let's do it.
You listening? We're doing the pregame show from Bryant-Denny. So, yeah, that's what's happening. If you guys can figure it out financially, but Igo and I are going.
We're going to make it work. I do think, look, these games can be tricky. You look at the Michigan game in 2023, and, ECU actually played well that year, but you did go 2-10, and Michigan ended up winning the national championship. So I'm not going to say ECU is going to go 2-10 because they're opening at Alabama. But at the same time, you have to be careful scheduling these games because realistically speaking, it's a 99% loss. So you're going to start the season 0-1. You don't want to get anybody hurt, but I do think this would be the year to do it, Philip, because you look at the rest of the non-conference schedule, it is manageable. Just like Alabama spends a lot more than ECU in football and therefore will be favored. ECU, they get App State at home. And look, I know App State has beaten ECU on the field, but ECU spends more than App State. They go to Old Dominion, same situation there. And they get North Carolina Central. So it's a manageable non-conference slate, and that's what you want because you don't want you don't really want a year like this where luckily you do get BYU at home, but you get Bama, and let's say you have another tough Power 4 game on the schedule, like your odds of having a good season really go down, whereas just a one-off and you're getting paid, and that money, too, is going in the rev share. So, I mean, you may need to use all $1.5 million to retain one of your best players. I mean, that's the way college football is going. So I understand some people being a little wary of games like these, but if you use them in the right spots, they're very beneficial.
They are, and like you said, I think the key there is you feel better about the out-of-conference schedule. And when you go back to the 2-10 season, well, what was your problem? You really didn't have a starting quarterback during that 2-10 season. Holton Ahlers had just graduated. Well, Caton Hauser's only a junior. There's no guarantee Caton Hauser will be here, but now you got $1.5 million more to try and retain Caton Hauser. Probably shouldn't say it out loud. I don't want Caton to be listening and, okay, I'll stay for that. But we hope to keep him, or if not, you go out there. If Caton does leave, say he goes Power 5, maybe you can get a kid from the MAC who you can spend, who's a certified starter in college football, and you can go out there and pay him $700,000 or $800,000 or something like that. So I don't think this is going to portray the Pirates into a 2-10 season. It is a little rough coming off that, and then you get 2 weeks before you get that FCS opponent. But I think if you can beat App that second game, you're right back where you need to be, and no reason you don't go 3-1 next year out of conference. Because I think you and I, we talked about it yesterday. You were more on it than I was. That App could be a dumpster fire, coming here in the next little bit. And Hank texted me, and I was hoping it was about Alabama, but it wasn't. Dang it, Hank.
Well, Hank, if you're still listening, we have a comment from Brandy on Facebook. She says you should completely do the pregame from Bryant Denny. So we have Brandy, who is saying we need to get it done, and I agree.
Yeah, he's texting us about next week's pregame show. Hank, we're talking about Alabama here.
Yeah, Hank.
We're about Campbell.
We're talking about. Look, we're looking ahead. We can do that.
We're not the players.
The
we're not the coaches.
Ryan King said Forrest Foster had a pick 6 at Alabama. Who is going to have a pick 6 next year at Bama? Man, it's going to be fun regardless of what happens. I enjoyed my time at the Big House, and honestly, ECU, I will say, it's going to be SEC officials. I saw the contract. You're not going to get any calls, just like you didn't get any calls in the Michigan opener where the guy was over the line of scrimmage. So it's a tough situation, but look, they're paying you $1.5 million for a reason. And if you do it enough times, maybe you can pull off an upset. And let's be real. Robert says going into Tuscaloosa down 29 seniors does not play in our favor. Alabama, I mean, if they don't make the playoff this year, they could have a new coach.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter, senior, junior, whatever. Like, they're going to have every advantage. ECU could have its best team ever. I will say, obviously, let's just play, the dream scenario here. You have an awesome season here at ECU. You retain Caton Hauser as a senior, give him a nice chunk of this money, and then you go to Bama next year. Maybe if you have an established offense and quarterback, you feel like you have a punter's chance. Like, I feel like if you would have had Holton Ahlers going into Michigan, you feel decent about competing in that game versus just, like, overwhelmed. So I do think that's a fair factor, but I don't know. Like, it's just going to be tough sledding regardless. I just don't want anybody to get hurt in that game.
Yeah, that's the key thing. Keep everybody safe. But the good thing is if you're Bama, even though you are bigger, faster, stronger, they're not going to be trying to hurt you, I think once they get up big, it's not they're going to take their foot off the gas, but they've got no ill will towards us. It's not an in-state rivalry. They probably didn't play high school with any of these kids, so I think that'll help. But also, you bring up the Holton thing in Michigan. Not only do we not have quarterback stability that season, we have quarterback stability in that game.
Yeah,
I mean they played 2 different quarterbacks.
That was a mess. From
yeah,
the beginning.
Mason looked good the first drive. He throws the pick the second drive, and then his first pass on the third drive was a little flat route to either a tight end or a tailback, and the dude was wide open, and he just spiked it. And I think we all knew right then, at least I did, that it was like, oh, crap. He doesn't have the confidence to be a D1 quarterback.
And it quickly unraveled from there. Really like Mason as a person, but yeah, it just didn't work out. All right, couple things before we get a break. Ben Byron says Rich Rod back at West Virginia and cancels the game against ECU. Coincidence? I think not. Well, technically speaking, that was canceled last year when Neil Brown was the coach. He didn't want to play that game, but nobody from West Virginia wants to come back to ECU, to be fair. Cameron says, if we win the toss tomorrow, do you think we should receive to set the tone and put pressure on State, or let the defense try to go out there first? I say receive and try to score.
Yeah, I'm a big defer guy most of the time, but I think this is one of those, you trust your offense. I think our coaching staff does trust our defense. They wouldn't put these guys out there, but there's more stability on the offense. And also NC State's kind of in the same boat, right? I think they feel a little better about their offense and their defense. So put the side of the ball on the field where you feel like you have the advantage.
I will say Blake, defensive-minded coach, typically those guys defer, but we'll see. I'm sure they're talking about now, have already made that decision if they do win the toss. All right, so let's get a break in. When we come back on the other side, we've got Maceo Donald. We'll get his reaction to the Alabama news, and we'll also talk about the ECU-NC State opener with the former ECU football player after this.
The team of Flatlands Jessup is working overtime to help ensure that Eastern North Carolinians like you get the health insurance help you need this open enrollment period. New legislation passed meaning more people than ever qualify for affordable coverage. Let us help you today.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
Tired of the 1-800 numbers advertising Medicare products? Flatlands Jessup has 6 offices all throughout Eastern North Carolina. Get face-to-face help from our local award-winning licensed team. Stop by today. Flatlands Jessup, your whole world covered.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Allen, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors. Arr, matey! Back to the show with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back into Hoist the Colors. It is Wednesday, August 27th. We are one day away from East Carolina and NC State. We're going to talk now with a former ECU football player, part of the ECU Sports Network. He's rejoining the show. He's Maceo Donald. Maceo, it's been a while, man. How's your offseason going?
Yeah, man, it's going pretty good. I've been waiting for football for a while. I'm happy and lucky to get to see the Pirates kick it off for us. So been a good offseason, but haven't had the sports all summer, so I'm ready.
We're almost to kickoff in Carter Finley Stadium. And before we dive into the game, I do want to update what Maceo Donald is doing these days for the Pirate fans, obviously fans of the show as well. Man, I know you've got a lot going on in the industry, doing some work on the news side as well. So update us on what Maceo is doing these days, man.
Yeah, man. So I was working at a newspaper, writing for a newspaper for about 18 months. Was able to do a sports column there in addition to doing normal news stuff, sadly. Now I'm working at Channel 12 in New Bern. I'm producing for the morning and noon show. So working with some people there, just a learning experience for me for sure. Still get to write my sports column for the newspaper, and I'll still be doing the sideline reporting at ECU. So doing a lot of different things. It's about to start getting busy here for me. I guess next week, doing the home games for the Pirates. So just staying busy, man, grinding like usual.
Well, glad that you're busy, man, because that means you make some money. That's always good, and moving up in the industry, man. So happy for you,
Yeah.
man. Obviously, know you work hard and appreciate you. We'll try to keep you on as a regular part of this show as well with your busy schedule. Maceo Donald with us, former ECU receiver, special teams guy. Just what do you feel like the mindset is as a former player, like, opening with NC State, which you guys did in 22, how different is that from a normal season opener versus maybe an FCS opponent?
Well, it's one of those games that you're super hyped for, which could cause mistakes, even though mistakes are typically come in the first game. So I think that's kind of one of the first thing that pops in my head is that you don't want to make those mistakes against NC State in week one. You might want to play them week two, or similar to how we played maybe in 2018, North Carolina A&T. Then we played Carolina the week after. But you're just so juiced up, ready to play. And I think for this team specifically, for Coach Harrell and Caton Hauser, the leaders of the team, they want to prove that the bowl game wasn't a fluke. So I think that's probably something in their heads. State's supposed to be the better team and the maybe quote unquote big brother. We're the little step brother. I think Coach Harrell said that a few weeks ago. So I think that's kind of the mindset of the guys now. But I mean, it's just different going in there and into Raleigh and playing against those fans and people that So it's bragging rights for sure.
East Carolina, NC State. What about on the opposite side, Maceo, with NC State? You're coming off the loss to East Carolina. They've heard about it all offseason. Fuel-wise, how much does that fuel them? And can it add pressure to Dave Doran if they don't start the game how they want to?
Yeah, I think this is Dave Doran is definitely going to try to whoop us like bad. He's going to try to do their best to kill us and to prove a point. And for his side, to prove that it was a fluke for them losing to us in the bowl game. So I know he's going to be trying to win this one, and I think his job is probably on the line if he doesn't beat us. So I think the odds maybe are a touchdown, maybe 10, 12-point favorites for them. They're in Raleigh. They kind of have maybe are able to rejuvenate and kind of get more players quicker than we can at ECU. But I think it's going to be a good one either way. It's a rivalry game. Anything can happen, but I know those guys are definitely going to want to make a point.
Maceo Donald with us, former ECU football player, now with the ECU Sports Network. What have you enjoyed the most about the offseason storylines from an ECU perspective, Maceo? What have you been locked in on there, and what are you looking more forward to see how it plays out on game day?
Well, that we have a quarterback. I think that's the most important thing. You got to have a quarterback and a head coach that people like. And Caton, I think they call him the mailman, and I can't disagree with him. I mean, he looked really good after they made the switch to him middle of last season. So I think that's obviously the biggest storyline here is that we lost some players. Rajay Harris is gone, lost some O-linemen. We still have a pretty good running back room, but I think it starts with him. And so that's the biggest thing. You don't have to worry about that at all. So everything else kind of can just fall into line. They'll follow his lead. But I think that's probably the biggest thing. I would feel a little bit more concerned if we didn't have Caton coming into this game on Thursday.
And just, as a player, when you were going into the 22 season and you guys played in NC State, obviously you had Holton Ahlers back as an established quarterback. Like, how much more confidence does that give you, whether you're a running back, you're a receiver? Like, going into the games, you got a guy at quarterback. Like, does that almost ease the entire team?
Absolutely, because that he's been there. I mean, he's played, at a bigger school and probably some bigger environments in ECU, and still even like the Military Bowl game of last year. And then this opening game, this is going to be some of the biggest games in all those players' lives. And you just feel comfortable knowing that he's been in that situation, has performed, has won, and kind of can do it. So, with Holton, we felt the same way. If anything, we were worried about everything else. He was kind of something that you can just kind of check off the list. You don't really have to worry about him too much. It's just, can we get the new players, into the system and ready to go for week one? And can the defense be ready to play? And are the coaches, what are they calling week one? So, it's everything else that you got to worry about. And having that quarterback, the leader that can kind of make things happen on the fly, you don't want anything other than that.
East Carolina, NC State, Thursday. It'll be a 7 o'clock kickoff. 3 of the 4 coordinators in the game are new to their to calling the plays. I will say new to their schools, but Kurt Roper, the NC State OC, was actually on the staff. He's now calling it for as the OC. You've obviously got DJ Elliott taking over as DC. He was the last time he called a defense. He was at Temple in 2022 when you guys scored 49 points on them in Philly. You obviously have Josh Aldridge coming in as new DC for ECU. So the unknown going into game one is always there. Maceo, I feel like it's even more there now with 3 of the 4 coordinators brand new. What are your thoughts on just, the early part of this game? I'm curious to see kind of how both teams approach it.
Yeah, I think you can definitely add maybe even 4 there because JDB, this is just his second year, fully calling plays and doing that himself. But, I think we could see some different things. And on both sides, we have returning quarterbacks, so that will make it easier, at least for those offenses. But defenses, I'm just thinking about the Pirates. Coach Harrell might not be the DC on paper, but I'm sure he's going to be heavily involved with the defense and making sure they're in the right things. That's kind of that's his baby if you had something to say, So I think we could see some different things, maybe not just because you have the same quarterbacks returning. But, these guys have been in the game for so long. If you're coaching at ECU, if you're coordinator at ECU or NC State, you probably know what you're doing.
Maceo Donald with us. We're previewing ECU and NC State. It'll be the season opener. Look, I've been out to practice, Maceo. They've been piping in the crowd noise, all that good stuff. Does that really simulate what it's like, though, playing on the road? Like how for the guys who are going into that environment for the first time, how much of I don't want to say shell shock, but how much of an adjustment period would that be?
Well, first off, Carter Finley isn't that loud. It's okay. It'll be loud for the first game, but it's not that loud. And it's not going to be the same when you can kind of feel them right on your back. Because if I remember correctly, State's opposing side, so ECU side, their fans are kind of right on your back there. It's not kind of how ours are, where you have the kind of nicer section and then our main section right behind. So we're going to be feeling the fans right there on our back. So it's a lot different. You can make up the noise and maybe not being able to hear. A lot of things now are hand signals anyway, so it doesn't make much of a difference, maybe except for the cadence and the O-line. It'll probably be worse for them. But you won't be able to experience what that's really like until you get into the game and that first snap. And it's just pretty crazy. But their home fans aren't like our home fans.
All right, so obviously we all want East Carolina, if possible, to win the game. That would be a huge start. You talk about momentum carrying over from last season. But what's the one thing besides a win that you want to see in the opener to kind of give you confidence for the rest of the season?
I just want to see if we can handle everything up front, and that's on both sides, offense and defense. I think we were really blessed with a really great senior running back last year that had kind of seen everything, and had probably his best just full season from beginning to end last year. So I think we were blessed with having that. Obviously, we have London Montgomery, who I think everyone feels comfortable about, maybe that dual threat kind of running back with speed and power. But it starts up front, and that's one advantage that NC State will have over us on probably every year is just, they're able to get more players in at the big spots, the offensive line, the defensive line. So if we can handle their offensive line and defensive line how we did in the bowl game, I'll feel comfortable and just kind of confident heading into the other games like BYU coming up, and then you're going to see Army a little bit after that. So I think it'll be interesting. It'll be a lot we can take away from the first game.
Defensively, Maceo, I've been writing about it all season. I'm kind of sick of writing about the questions on that side of the ball. But, look, it's fair until we go see them play. There are a lot of questions there. And I don't know, you kind of hit on it a little bit with the fronts, but what are realistic expectations for the defense? I was kind of joking with Blake Harrell, this will be your first time not calling it, and he just kind of smiled. And obviously, like you said, he'll probably still be involved. But what are potential realistic expectations there? Just 2 starters, returning a new coordinator, all that.
Yeah, well, I think the first game is the first expectation is to score more than the other team, and I think just to cause turnovers. You might give up a lot of points or give up a lot of rushing yards, but if you can create turnovers, I think that'll give you an edge. I think the percentages are kind of crazy if you look at percentages for teams who force turnovers that usually win the game. So I think that'll be big for us, and obviously we're going to be missing our D-line boys, and I think that's going to be a big part of it. I know we have some guys there that have played, but we're going to miss the Sue Adwares and Xavier McIvers and Elijah. So it's going to be a lot of change, but I think that up front, is going to be the big question marks, and we just have to force some turnovers. So we definitely did in that bowl game.
East Carolina and NC State. All right, Maceo Donald, give me your three. I'm putting you on the spot here. Your three key players that have to play well if you're East Carolina to win this game. Who has to play well for the Pirates to pull off the upset at NC State?
Number one, Caden Hauser, for obvious reasons. Got to deliver that ball. Got to deliver the mail. Got to control the offense. That voice that can calm everyone down when it does get loud in Carter Finley. Number two, I would have to say probably London Montgomery. A big role to fill after Rajay Harris and Keaton Mitchell before him. And a capable player that I think we got to see flashes from last season that was just, he got in, you kind of see him pop. You could tell that he might not have known the offense as well as some of the others and getting comfortable with everything, but he popped when he was on film and if you watch him on tape. And then I don't know if number three's, I would say just the defensive line in general. NC State's going to try to run against us. They're always known for having some offensive linemen. Pretty much every other year, they're going to be first, second round draft picks. So they're going to have some guys up front. So I think if we can handle in all those three phases up front on the defensive line, be able to run the ball with London Montgomery and then obviously be able to control the offense and make the passes and not throw interceptions with Caden. I think that'll be the biggest three factors in the game.
All right, Maceo Donald with this final thing for Maceo. And full disclosure, right, we're recording this on Tuesday afternoon, and this is airing Wednesday. But I've been kind of flustered during this interview, Maceo, because some big news just came out. ECU's season opening opponent for 2026 is going to be the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Is that what I just sent? Okay, I just got a bunch of notifications when we first started from the guy, the group chat with the guys. Are you serious?
Yeah, ECU at Alabama. So we're getting our live.
At Alabama?
Yeah, at Alabama live raw reaction. I assume ECU's getting a nice paycheck here. Just for clarification, so they'll open at Alabama, then host App State, or go to ODU, then host North Carolina Central. So it'll be a non-conference. But opening at Alabama, your thoughts?
Wow. That's crazy. I think every football player would want to play at Alabama, would want to play against Alabama, maybe play for Alabama. But that's crazy. It's not much different than us playing Michigan, except for Alabama's just that recent success under Nick Saban. He's gone now, but Michigan got that one national championship. So we did play the best team headed to their national championship season. But Alabama has a little bit more just, juice to it when you say it and when you see it. But so I think some of the young guys or the older guys now might have been there when we went and practiced there during the Birmingham Bowl a few years back in 2022. So they might have seen the stadium before, but it'll definitely be different going up there. That's a pretty crazy experience.
September 5th, 2026, East Carolina at Alabama. Man, it feels crazy to say. Maceo, we'll talk about obviously the East Carolina NC State opener after the conclusion of this game when we get you on next week, man. But looking forward to it again. You'll be doing the home games for the ECU Sports Network on the sideline, and you'll be watching the road games and following those as well, man. But where can people again check out your work this year as part of whether it's ECU coverage or other coverage?
Yeah, just look up the Just Say It column on Carteret County News Times. You'll see a big fat picture of me in my purple and gold tie from my high school pictures. Those are only professional pictures that I have. So yeah, just my name, Maceo Donald, Just Say It column, Carteret County News Times. And you can find any sports story you're looking for every other week. So doing a lot of ECU football, I'm sure about that.
He is Maceo Donald. Maceo, we appreciate the time. As always, man, great insights, and we'll be following your work throughout the season, man. Looking forward to it, and thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
We'll be right back on Hoist the Colors with more.
Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human. About creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Pirates play here. Arr! This is Hoist the Colors Radio with Stephen Igo.
Yes! That was so good!
On 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in, Hoist the Colors, third segment here. Talking a lot of ECU, NC State, of course. We do have to get to our MAC preview. It's our final conference preview. We were committed to it. We got to get it done. I know you guys want to hear ECU, NC State talk. I get it. We got all day tomorrow for that as well. I will say I'm a little worried Philip Pilkington producing today's show.
You're worried that I'm producing the show? Dang, thanks, man.
Sorry, I was just making sure I reintroduce you so people know who I'm talking to. 12 of the first 13 picks. We just launched our score prediction thread on Hoist the Colors. 12 of the first 13 picks have the Pirates winning. Now, this is an ECU message board. I guess that makes sense. But are people expecting too much here? I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say fans shouldn't pick their own team to win, but just a lot of confidence, which hey, it's good, I guess.
Yeah, I think there are two types of fans, right? There are fans that, hey, unless we're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, are going to pick ECU, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being that kind of fan. That's the glory of being a fan. And then there's the kind of fans that, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to throw out what I really think the score is going to be if I had no emotional involvement in this game. And I think at the collegiate level, you have more of those emotional type score picks.
Yeah.
I think any other team in our boat, the fan bases would do the same thing. So I don't think they're expecting too much. I think a lot of Pirate fans just can't bring themselves to pick against the Pirates.
All right, Kenny Curlins wants to know about the NC State backup quarterback situation. I'll do some research on that. Kenny will have an answer final segment. He says we believe as well. All right, our MAC preview. For those unaware, this is an interesting conference. Obviously, you know, MACtion, middle of the week type stuff. Special guest just walking in the studio.
No.
Scott Rogers.
Oh, no. Who let him in the door?
You guys know the former ECU baseball play-by-play voice. Maybe we can get him on the final segment as well.
I knew he was going to get in the front door. I didn't know they were going to let him in the studio. Oh, no.
He's back.
He said, I still remember the code.
The MAC. This is the last year that Northern Illinois will be in the MAC because they're going to the Mountain West. You've got 6 new head coaches in the MAC. Toledo, Buffalo, Ohio, Miami of Ohio are all kind of picked towards the top of the league. Northern Illinois is up there as well. The bottom of this league looks pretty bad with some of the new coaches. We'll get into that. Let's just run through it. I don't want to spend but so much time on the MAC. So who's our last place team in the Mid-American Conference?
Kent State.
Kent State is also my last place team. Last year they were atrocious. This year they have a new coach in place. But, I mean, you went 0-12. Prove to me you can win a football game. Best conference game in the MAC.
I'm going to take Tuesday, November 4th, when it is the Battle of the Buckeye State, Miami of Ohio at Ohio.
Give me Ohio at Buffalo. Ohio did lose Tim Albin, but their OC and DC remain. The OC become the head coach. I think they're still going to be pretty good. Also, Buffalo under Pete Limbo the last year won 9 games, and I think 16 returning starters. They do have a tougher schedule, but I think this game on Friday, November 28th, Thanksgiving weekend, will have conference title ramifications. So give me Ohio at Buffalo season finale. Dark horse title contender, Phillip.
I'm going Northern Illinois. I love Thomas Hammock. You know, we talked about, does a coach make it to where a group of young men will run through the wall for him? I think they will, but I think he'll run through the wall for his team. Nobody backs his team more than Thomas Hammock. I love the guy, and therefore, even though they have a pretty tough schedule, I think they go to 2 of the top 3 teams in the league based off the projections for the beginning of the season. But I'm going to pick Northern Illinois. Just got to love them.
Give me the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Chris Creighton has quietly done a really good job there. They're always solid. Only 8 returning starters, and they did lose the last 5 last year as they finished 5-7. But I think they've got some pieces. A lot of it comes down to the quarterback play, but they're always competitive, and I'll just pick them in a year where there seems to be a lot of bad teams in the MAC. I think they'll be solid. Maybe they can work their way into the top part of the league.
In order for you to pick them, you must know what color their field is. What color is Eastern Michigan's field?
Green?
No, most teams are green. That wouldn't be a hard guess. It's not green.
Well, tell me they have like that gray field.
It's silver. Yeah, or gray.
It's disgusting. Yeah, this shows you how much action I watch. The conference MVP is who, Phillip?
I'm going to go DeQuan Finn. He is the Miami Redhawks quarterback. He was at Baylor a year ago, didn't see a lot of playing time, but he spent the previous years of his career at Toledo, where he did see a lot of playing time.
I remember ECU trying to recruit DeQuan Finn out of the portal a little bit when he was leaving Toledo the first time. I'm going to go with the new Toledo quarterback. He was also there last year. He is Tucker Gleason. Last season, completed 60% of his passes, threw for 2,800 yards, 24 touchdowns, 8 picks. He can also run. He scored 7 times on the ground. Toledo, Jason Candle, they're always good. They'll be good again. Give me their quarterback, Tucker Gleason. Our next category is the championship game. Who do you have making the MAC title game?
I got Toledo and Miami of Ohio.
I have Toledo and the Buffalo Bulls.
Oh, you have them beating Ohio on that final day, and that being the difference to put them over. So I'm guessing you have Ohio beating Miami of Ohio.
Yes, and then Buffalo plays Miami of Ohio and Ohio at home to close the season back-to-back.
There you go. 2 big
win
games.
both those games.
Are we making the trip up?
No. We will not make the trip up to Buffalo.
For some Tuesday night action? Come on, Igo.
They close their season Wednesday at Central Michigan, Wednesday against Miami of Ohio, Friday, Ohio. So true.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we're doing the action preview on a Wednesday. I was talking to Ben Byram earlier. He goes, how appropriate. You're doing it on a Wednesday, and they're known for Tuesday and Wednesday night action.
It's the only way to do it. All right, our conference champion, I'm going to go with the Toledo Rockets. They lost last year to Miami of Ohio in the title game. I think they get revenge on winning the title this year by beating Buffalo, who they did not meet in the regular season.
I think they're up, and DeQuan Finn throws a last play touchdown to defeat his old team and rip their hearts out, baby. Give me the Redhawks.
All right, we'll run through our independent preview really quick because Notre Dame, they're expected to be good. Now, for the record, the 4 independents in college football this season are Notre Dame, Connecticut, Oregon State, Washington State. When you did this,
did UMass join a conference?
They are in the MAC.
Didn't know that.
This is their first year back in the MAC. I did mean to mention that. By the way, when you told AI to look up independent, this is why we don't trust AI, folks. What did they say?
So I looked up. I was just wanting to know what the over/under win totals were, so I didn't have to search them on the sportsbook apps. It brought up UConn, Notre Dame, Navy, and Army as the 4 FBS independent schools.
There you go.
That's why we don't trust computers.
Don't trust AI as useful as it can be. Now, Notre Dame has a win total of 10.5. They open at Miami. Then they have a bye. Then they play Texas A&M. And then they have a very winnable schedule the rest of the year. At Arkansas might be tricky. Boise State at home might be tricky. They host NC State. They host USC. They got to go to Pittsburgh. But, I mean, they should be favored in their last 10 games. Their big question is who's going to play quarterback? Jeremiah Love's a stud of a running back, potential Heisman candidate. Is C.J. Carr any good? We'll find out, I guess, this weekend. But they are a playoff contender. Connecticut, I know you were doing some research on them. They won 9 games last year, beat UNC in the bowl game. Can they continue their success? And then who knows with Oregon State, second-year coach Trent Bray, and also Jimmy Rogers taking over at Washington State, who has a tough schedule as they lose their coach to Wake Forest. So any other thoughts on the independents?
No, I mean, UConn just scheduled a cupcake of a schedule here. They can win 10 games easy. But, hey, shout out to Jim Mora, though, for turning that program around, revamping his career after a tough time at UCLA. Also, I do want to go back to the MAC one thing. I think you had a nugget that you wanted to mention of a new head coach in the MAC that may or may not be a former really good Ohio State running back that we forgot to mention.
Did you know that the MAC head coach, first off, there were 6 new head coaches. But the MAC head coach at Bowling Green is Eddie George. Eddie George, former Tennessee Titans great, former Ohio State great. And he had success, I believe, at Grambling.
No, I was wrong. It was Tennessee Tech.
Tennessee
or maybe
Tech.
Tennessee State. I don't even know. I don't know if there's a difference. It might be the same school.
Anyways, this just continues the recent trend of hiring kind of big-name former players. And, I mean, you're Bowling Green, why not? And he's had some success, so we'll see how he does. I almost picked him as my dark horse, but Eddie George now the head coach.
We can get Bowling Green alum Jim Zoki's thoughts on this tomorrow on the Pirate Game Day Countdown. We talked to him.
We'll have to get his thoughts. Remind me to ask him that. All right, final thing I was going to ask with the Power 4, Autonomy 4, whatever you want to call them, going to more non-game conference games, or non-game conference schedules, it's going to lessen the availability for other non-conference games for ECU. My question is, should ECU try to add any MAC teams to their future schedules, or is it not even worth it? Should they just stick with Sunbelt? I guess you don't really want to get on another flight to take on a MAC team, but just a thought I had.
I'm all for playing teams with fan bases that may travel. So if one of these teams may travel, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that live in North Carolina from Ohio. Of course, they're all Buckeye fans, but like, I don't know, maybe Miami of Ohio or the Bobcats of, Ohio. Maybe they got fans. I don't know. Maybe some Steeler fans will come to watch Miami of Ohio play because Ben Roethlisberger played there.
Usually when I turn on MACtion, there's about 14 people in the stands.
That's because it's like 14 degrees by the time you're turning on MACtion in November. I mean, and it's a Tuesday night, so like no one travels in from out of town because it's on a Tuesday. They got to take like middle of the week off work.
That's fair. All right, Ben Byram adds, Philip is the type of sicko to go to Miami of Ohio and Buffalo.
Yeah, I am. What is it? So what if I want to go to every college football stadium, Ben? You ain't getting invited now.
Philip the sicko Pilkington producing today's program. We got to get our final break in. I have to answer Kenny's question, speaking of sicko, about NC State's backup quarterback. And then we may or may not say hi to Scott Rogers on the air. This is Hoist the Colors' final segment on the way.
Turn your car into cash at Greenville Toyota. Cash in your trade-in today. Then get new Camry just $249 a month. Or drive a new RAV4, $319 a month. At Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Cash in your trade-in at Greenville Toyota. Get a huge offer when you trade. Then save big on a brand new Corolla, just $229 a month. Or get a Tacoma, just $319 a month. Secure your Toyota now at Greenville Toyota.
Everything you need to know in the world of ECU athletics. This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Got about 3.5 minutes left. We do have to get to a special unprompted guest, but I do want to answer a few questions. Robert says, since tomorrow is game day, what time will the Logan Zone be aired? Robert, we were talking about that earlier, but it'll be 5 to 7 tonight on Wednesday due to Thursday games. It'll be on Wednesday in those cases. It'll be Thursday at 5, normal weeks. And then we also had the question from Kenny about NC State's backup quarterback situation. Lex Thomas, redshirt freshman, is their backup quarterback. Kind of a dual threat, 5'11" quarterback out of Heritage High School. Also, their third string is true freshman Will Wilson. So, to my knowledge, that is their backup quarterback situation if C.J. Bailey were to go down. All right. Scott Rogers is in studio. Scooter himself.
I brought gifts.
And he brought gifts. If I can get this right. How sweet is this, man? Mariners, Mets. Little League Classic shirt. Thanks so much, dude.
You're welcome.
And
If only your Mariners could have played a little bit better that night.
You know, that's
the Mariners.
You know, that's the Mariners. I told you, welcome to the Mariners experience.
Yeah, you did. You did.
So, how you been, man?
It's been good. It's been a long few months with tournament season for us, but wrapped up the Little League Baseball World Series on Sunday and traveled back from Williamsport Monday and got here last night, and we'll be here for a few days, some much-needed time off and recovery.
So are you going to the NC State game?
I will be in Carter Finley Stadium.
Will you be at the Campbell game?
I will not be at the Campbell game, but I will be back for the BYU game.
Okay. So we're going to start calling you Big Game Scooter because you only show up for the big game.
Well, I got a job now. I actually have to balance time off and everything like that, too.
So what are you going to do when you're back in town?
Saturday, I'm not doing anything but watching football.
Okay.
That's my plan.
That's my plan, too, so you should come over.
Yeah,
hang out.
I'd be down.
As long as you're ready to deal with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Yeah, Philip can deal with them. Yeah. Philip can babysit.
We did talk about roughly doing something Saturday for opening day of college football with Bobby Harvard, so maybe we can try to get together.
Ooh.
Try to figure out something.
There we go.
So, why else are you here besides dropping off gifts? Are you just here to say what's up?
Came by to drop off gifts, say hello. I just had sup dogs for lunch. It was glorious. I needed sup dogs in my life.
You're just doing all the touristy stuff, you know.
That's
stopping
right.
by the radio station, eating sup dogs.
That's right.
Do you miss Greenville?
I miss certain things about Greenville.
What don't you miss?
I can't say that on the air.
The traffic. Let's just say the traffic.
Yeah, well, I felt right at home last night when I got in. I got by the hospital. There was a guy talking to himself on the side of the road. And when we got on 14th Street, all of Gateway Dorm was out on the sidewalk because the fire alarm was going off. So it just felt like a normal day in Greenville.
Welcome home, baby.
That's right.
So we got about 50 seconds left in the show. Wish we had more time, but give us your official NC State ECU prediction. Can you do that?
I will. I think it will be a close loss by the Pirates. That's just my official prediction, but I have a feeling that the Pirates will come ready to play, and I'm excited to see the Pirate defense against a NC State offense that looks like it does have some missing pieces on that offensive line and a fast East Carolina defense. So that's really what I'm looking forward to the most Thursday night in that matchup.
Hopefully the Pirates can make it 2 in a row. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll try to catch a pregame in Raleigh, too. Got the pregame show from 4 to 6 tomorrow, but appreciate you stopping by, man.
Absolutely. Ready for a Pirate football game as a fan Thursday night.
Yeah, good to get you on the air, man. It's been too long. Well, all right, we wish we had more time with Scooter, but we're out of time. We'll try to get him back on sometime this fall when we have a little bit more time. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thanks to Philip for his hard work behind the glass, as always. Again, game day show tomorrow. 12 to 1, and then we'll be back on the air live from Raleigh, 4 to 6, leading into the network pregame show as well. We'll see you then. Football just around the corner.